Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and I'm pleased, honored, enthusiastic, so happy to have in the studio with me Gloria Allred, the civil rights attorney, activist, feminist, founding partner of Allred, Morocco, and Goldberg law firm specializing in employment law, and specifically taking on Donald Trump. You can get all the information over at her website, Gloria Allred, as in all red, like all blue, all red, gloriaallred.com. And be sure to check that out. Gloria, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much, Thom, for having me. And I'm very honored to be here. I'm sitting here in your studio looking at two shelves of books that you have written over 25 years. I mean, it's countless. I can't begin. I can't even count all of them. Yeah. It's just amazing, and I congratulate you on it because that's a Herculean feat to have done that. And I know that many of them were bestsellers as well.
Actually, yeah, I'm guessing that you have written far more words, writing legal briefs and making things happen through the law. That is powerful stuff. Tell us about what you're doing right now relative to our new, I'm having such a hard time saying.
President Trump.
Thank you for doing that for me.
I know.
Yeah.
And I know that many of your listeners are really having a hard time right now, too. And I know that, my Facebook page is very, very active with individuals voicing how they feel, especially on this day. And I'm just so happy to be here, with your listeners. And I'll be at the march on Washington, the Women's March tomorrow, with many of my clients, some of whom are, allege that they have been victimized by Donald Trump. They allege inappropriate sexual conduct by him. And then, of course, one of them is Summer Zervos, for whom we filed a lawsuit this week against now President Trump, in which we allege that he defamed Ms. Zervos when, in fact, she had made allegations of sexually inappropriate conduct by him, and she had made those allegations publicly after the Access Hollywood tapes were broadcast. And, of course, he called her and many other accusers who had the courage to speak out and find their voice and speak out publicly about what they allege had been their experience with Mr. Trump. He called them liars, said what they had to say was fiction and fabrications, and threatened to sue them after the election. He has not done that. We filed a lawsuit because we called on him. We challenged him to retract what he said about Ms. Zervos and the other accusers, and he has not done so. But Ms. Zervos has said if he will do so and acknowledge and state that what she said was the truth, then she would dismiss the lawsuit and not seek any damages, any financial compensation whatsoever. And by the way, this is a very important lawsuit if people wish to support it. We do need the help of the public with donations. They can just, again, go to my webpage, gloriaallred.com, and they'll find a link that they'll be able to make donations and support Summer in this battle against the president, which will be historic. We remember Paula Jones' case against President Clinton, which was allowed to proceed, United States Supreme Court. Nobody's above the law, and that would be including the President of the United States. And so now we'll have Summer Zervos versus Donald Trump, and we expect this to be another, I'll call it, historic battle.
Here you go. Well, you just answered the question I was about to ask, which is, I know that there were numerous lawsuits against George W. Bush, many relating to the Iraq War. You had Vince Bugliosi, calling for the prosecution of Bush for murder. During the Clinton administration, there were numerous attempts to sue Bill Clinton, but the Paula Jones one was the one that led, straight to Monica Lewinsky and over the top, but with a lot of help from Congress. I mean, a lot of help from an entire giant partisan machine.
In other words, a lot of help from a Republican Congress. So, we're, of course, very interested in pursuit of this lawsuit against now President Trump. We'll be interested in taking his testimony under oath. Of course, we would look forward to his testimony being truthful. We're not going to assume that it would be other than truthful when he's under oath. However, if for any reason he would not tell the truth under oath, if in fact he would commit perjury, in other words, not testify truthfully about a material fact in this case, then hopefully this Republican Congress would be interested in what his testimony would be, and depending on what it is, decide that he should be held accountable. Or we may have a Democratic Congress in 2 years. It depends on when all of this happens, if it happens. But I think if it's a Republican Congress, we know that they voted to impeach then President Clinton because of his testimony under oath. And we would, of course, expect them to be consistent, even though it would be a Republican president now who some people might call, on to be impeached. Again, I'm not going to assume that he is going to lie under oath, not going to assume that the Republicans won't do the right thing. We'll have to wait and see. But the important thing is we will be watching.
Right.
And, we will battle this to the end.
Is there a higher bar that you have to hit? Are there a different set of hoops that you have to jump through basically to sue the President of the United States versus, some guy down the street?
Well, he through his lawyers may seek to delay this because he's President of the United States. Actually, the Congress could even decide that they're going to pass a statute in which they would say that he cannot be subject to litigation. In other words, delay the litigation while he is president. If they did so, they would, as they say in some parts of the South, they would have a lot of splaining to do.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do that in reference to President Clinton. So why would they be making an exception here? But what I'm saying is I do expect that his lawyers will do everything possible to try to protect him, which most likely would include trying to get this to maybe a different forum other than New York City. We filed it in New York. By the way, our law firm, along with our co-counsel in New York, won at the highest court in New York previously a lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit, which is now a precedent for what defamation cases must consist of in order to be considered defamation. At the highest court in New York, we did that on behalf of two young men who alleged that they were survivors of child sexual abuse. And two lower courts said that's not defamation. The fact that the coach of the Syracuse basketball team had called them liars, said what they did it for, that they only did it for money. But it turns out that the highest court said that can be considered defamatory. And so that, will basically be benefiting from our own legal precedent, which we won. But I do want to say this. This has been very painful for many millions to watch President Trump, now President Trump, be inaugurated, to listen to his speech, to see, happens to be my shero, and I know she's the hero, also shero for so many millions of others, sit there. And, when she won 3 million votes more than in the popular vote than now President Trump. But, we are going to be the resistance, and we are going to speak truth to power. And we are going to be strong, and we are going to be courageous, Tom. We will not give in. We will not give up. And this will be a challenge to each and every one of us. And I have faith that millions of American people who care about justice, who care about equality, who care about what is right, will remain strong and courageous in these challenging 4 years to come.
My last question: you mentioned we need some help, and you can. We're speaking with legendary attorney Gloria Allred. Her website, Gloria Allred, ALLRED.
.com.
Yeah. What kind of help are you looking for?
Well, we're looking for, frankly, financial help for Summer's lawsuit against now President Trump. And that's important because in 40 years, I've been practicing law for 40 years with a leading women's rights law firm in the nation. And we've never had to ask for help on any case for the thousands of clients that
Is this because you're taking on a billionaire and he's got all these resources?
Because we're taking on the President of the United States.
Uh-huh.
And and they're going to fight this all the way. It's going to be a battle royal. But you know what? I've done David and Goliath cases for 40 years. This is a Davida versus Goliath. We're going to fight this all the way. But we do need financial assistance in support of Summer so that we can go the distance. And so that's why we're asking people to go to gloriaallred.com, and that'll clearly explain how they can support this. We all have a stake in the truth. We all have a stake in justice. I always say truth matters.
We have to wrap it up. Gloria Allred, it's such an honor to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and continued
You're
success.
listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit thomhartmann.com for audio and video archives.
Very much. Gloria Allred. Be sure to check out her website, gloriaallred.com.